Hey guys, it's Roho Inc. and today I want to be doing another video that's like my previous video, which was the What's on my iPhone 10 video, and this one is a What's on my MacBook Pro video. So to start off, I want to go ahead and go into the About This Mac section. So we're using a 2017 15-inch MacBook Pro with an Intel Core i7 2.8 gigahertz processor. We have 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, and we are currently running on macOS High Sierra. Also, if we go into our displays, we're using the built-in display, which the resolution is 2880 by 1800. Our storage, we have our 250 gigabyte uh, it, like SSD hard drive, and then we have an external lacy drive, which I use for all of my. I used it to store my sample libraries as a backup. I decided to get rid of that and just keep them on my PC. So this is just going to be for storing videos and other miscellaneous things on here. So yeah, now we can exit out of here and let's jump into the actual programs that I have on here. So to start off, we have Safari, Mail, Contacts, Calendar, Reminder, Notes, and Maps. So all of these, most of these are actually going to be just the default stock programs that come with the MacBook Pro. So we also have the Messages app, FaceTime, Photo Booth, Photos, iTunes, iBooks, App Store, Preview, Calculator. I'm going to skip over this folder. Magnet, which is a uh, app that I got from the App Store. I believe it was $1, but it allows you to snap windows to, like, you can make them full screen or maximize it or snap it to the right side of the screen to cover half the screen. So I wish it was just something they had by default like they do on Windows, but sadly we couldn't get that. We also have Siri, which I don't use at all. I also don't use iBooks so I don't use Safari. I prefer to use Google Chrome. I do use the Mail app. I don't use Contacts. I use the calendar, but not a lot. Reminders, Notes, and Maps, no. I rarely use Messages or FaceTime. I usually just use that on my phone. I never opened up Photo Booth. Photos I use just to store some stuff on here, like my iPhone 10 video. I recorded it on my iPhone and then I transferred it over using iCloud. iTunes I don't use. iBooks I don't. App Store I do. I do use Preview and the calculator, and then Magnet is just something that I use but subconsciously. Siri I don't use. Dashboard I don't use. System preferences I do use. Then this is where we get into the programs that I downloaded and I use a lot. So I have Final Cut Pro, which is my editing software, my main editing software. I have Motion, which is an add-on to Final Cut Pro. I'll give you guys like a comparison of what that is soon. I have Compressor, which is also an add-on and sort of external product that goes alongside Final Cut Pro. Um, Also, two other programs that I got are Logic Pro, which I'll talk about soon, and Main Stage 3. So the Final Cut Pro, Motion, Compressor, Logic, and Main Stage all came together in an education bundle, and as always, I highly recommend if you are a college student, get the bundles, search them up, look for discounts on anything you're looking into purchasing. I also have Adobe Photoshop, which I use to make my thumbnails, Adobe Audition, which is what I'm currently using to record my audio, but I'm not using it on the MacBook. I'm recording it off of my Windows computer because my microphone is connected there. I also have Adobe Premiere Pro, which used to be my main editing software, but now I switched to Final Cut. And Adobe Media Encoder CC, which is like Compressor for Final Cut. So Compressor is for Final Cut Pro, Media Encoder is for Premiere Pro. So it's an external program so you could render out your videos. Then I have the Microsoft Office suite. Well, I don't think it's the whole thing, but oh well. Microsoft Word, which I use all the time to write my essays and other stuff for school. PowerPoint, which I don't use. Microsoft Excel, which I don't use. OneNote and Outlook, I don't even use at all. Well, I used OneNote like once, and then I didn't really use it. I used it to take notes, but it wasn't really helpful for me. Then I have Google Chrome, which is my preferred uh, website searching thing. Browser? Yeah, the browser, my preferred browser. Yeah. And then I have Spotify, which is my main program for listening to music. Then I have a folder called Music Creation. So here I have Logic Pro 10, GarageBand, Contact 5, and Sibelius. So Contact 5 is just to load up sample libraries, and Sibelius is just notation software. Then I have a social networking folder. So in here I have Skype, which I don't use anymore. I have Facebook Messenger, which I don't use on here. Discord, which I rarely use on here. TweetDeck, which I rarely use. And if you're not familiar with it, TweetDeck is a program that you could use to send out tweets, look at your tweets, notifications, etc. Then I have Zoom.us, which is a program that I'm using for my writing class to have video chats with my instructor. And then OBS, which is recording software. But right now I'm using QuickTime to record this because OBS isn't giving me like high quality for some reason, and QuickTime's doing it, so that's a little bit weird. But here we have Evernote, which is my main note-taking software. I use this to be able to transfer notes between my iPhone and here. I talked about it in my iPhone video. Idle, which is Idle is the program that you use to write Python code. So Python is a language, a computer science programming language, and Idle is the environment that you use to write the code. And then PyCharm is another type of environment that you could use for Python. So I switch between the two. And yeah, so let me just show you real quick Idle, just how it's like when you open it up. So it'll give you a Python shell, and then you could open up a new thing. So we could say print hello. By the way, I'm not even doing like computer science anymore. But yeah, let's go ahead and save it there, untitled. And then we'll bring this here, and then we'll run it. And then it'll run the code or whatever. So yeah. And then we have PyCharm, which is another one, like I said, but it's different. Let's open this up. So when you open up the program, you'll be greeted with the loading screen first, which is this. Then you could create a new project. So let's create a new one. Let's call it Untitled with multiple letters. Okay. So we create it. That loads the project. And the reason why I like to use this is because with Idle, in order to be able to run your code, you have two windows. You have the Python shell, and then you have your environment. But here, you don't need that. So we're going to go ahead and create a, where is it? Okay, so let's go ahead and new. Okay, so I forgot what I've been doing, but I messed up the settings or whatever. It's in the preferences. I'm not going to get into detail with that, but this is pretty much how it looks. It's different, and then you could run the code in one window. So yeah, then I have battle.net, which is for, I don't use it for Overwatch because when you can't play Overwatch on a Mac, which sucks, but I use it for Hearthstone. Then I also have Minecraft. And if we go back into my other folder, we have text edit, which I don't use at all. Grapher, which is a pretty cool program, but I don't use. You could use it to draw 2D or 3D graphs, which could be really helpful. DVD player, which I sort of don't see the point because there's no disk drive. And then time machine, which is used for backups, but I don't use it. Font book chess, which I use like once. Stickies, I use it every now and then. Image capture, voiceover utility, airport utility, migration assistant, terminal activity, monitor console, all of those I have not used. And then keychain access system information, all of that row I have not used at all. Well, I used disk utility earlier today. But yeah, color sync utility grab I don't use, but it's pretty helpful. It allows you to take screenshots. So yeah, Bluetooth file exchange, which I do use. Audio MIDI setup, I use it every now and then. Python launcher, which is the computer programming language. Dropbox, which I do use a lot to transfer files between my phone, my PC, my MacBook. The unarchiver, which I use to open .raw or .zip files. Mission control, QuickTime player, which I'm using to record this video right now. eLicenser control center, which is for different, you could say, computer program keys. So for example, something like FL Studio or Cubase, but Cubase uses an actual flash drive, so it's different. Dictionary, Hearthstone, and then the Hearthstone beta launcher, and Shazam, which is a great program. I highly recommend it. If you're listening to a song and you don't know what it is, Shazam will pick it up and it'll tell you what song it is. So it's running somewhere up here, I think, or maybe I closed it, I don't know. But yeah, so the programs that I have at the bottom on my dock are Finder, Launchpad, Safari, which, like I said, I don't use a lot. I rarely use it. Google Chrome, which I use all the time. Microsoft Word, which I said to write all my papers. I also have Mail, which is my default mail app. Calendar. Photos, which I use all the time to sync photos between my phone and my MacBook. Messages, which I don't use a lot. FaceTime, which I don't use a lot. Final Cut Pro, which I use to edit all of my videos. Logic Pro, which I use every now and then just to write little ideas before I actually transfer them over onto Cubase on my PC. Then the iTunes Store, or just iTunes, sorry. Then the App Store, which I don't use a lot. Spotify, Evernote, System Preferences, and then QuickTime, like I said, to record. And then I have a videos folder, my folder called Roger, which is my folder where I store all of my school documents, etc. Then TNJC, which is a book called The New Jim Crow, which I'm reading for my writing class at the moment. LVYE, which is the orchestra that my little brother made. We're going to be performing this Saturday. It's currently Tuesday. Well, you could say Monday night, but it's 12:55, so it's Tuesday. So yeah, we're going to be performing this Saturday. I will go ahead and upload. Hopefully I'll try to record the actual performance and then upload it, not to this channel, but to the LVYE channel that I created. So I'll leave a link to that down below in the description. Then I have my Lacy drive, which is my external hard drive, and untitled .py. So yeah, that's pretty much all the things that I have on my MacBook Pro. So if you guys did enjoy this video, and if you would like to see another video of like what's on this or what's on that or whatever, like cool, like what games do I have for the Nintendo Switch or whatever, stuff like that, please make sure to leave a like down below. Please make sure to answer the poll as to whether you are a Adobe Premiere Pro person or Final Cut Pro if you are a video editor. So you can answer that by clicking on the top right. And also please make sure to become a color guys. On Saxtam, I'm Rohoing, and I'll see you all in the next video. Adios.